Hey there, this is Robby with Milton Mugs and More, soon to be, or we're changing it to Sculptural Pottery by Robby Railey. Long story short, what we're doing here is this is 6 months of videotaping and editing, and this is the culmination of all into a video of 1 week of production. So please stay tuned and check it out. Let's start that time-lapse shenanigans. Lucky little tip. I put the name of what I just bowled out on a piece of cardboard, chuck it in the bag. Tall mugs, done. Short mugs. All right, putting together clay for a big mound to throw off the hump. Monday, we've gotten up early and gotten some things trimmed. These are faux bowls for order. So I've got these trimmed up. Did that early. Got 4 of them here. And now I'm gonna clean up a little bit from trimming and get to cranking on the mugs. So cue the inspirational music. So I started, went ahead and decided to weigh out a couple more balls of clay because I like to do an even 20 soup mugs. We'll see how that goes. Maybe make some bowls, but let's get cranking. Now we're going to switch to, I think, small mugs. We'll do small mugs. We'll do small mugs because they take up less space on this board and they're a little faster. Let's go. Tall mugs. Go, 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 go. A lot of people ask me what's throwing off the hump, and so I'm going to show you and explain to you what throwing off the hump means. It means getting a big mound of clay and throwing all your pieces off of that. It just makes it a little easier to set out and ball out. Tiny little balls to do. What I'm going to be doing is dipping bowls, spoon rests, bud vases, and things like that. So let me put this together and I'll show you. Alright, probably won't see my face in this, but I'm supposed to be paying attention to the clay anyways. Here we go. It's a big ball of clay, big mound of clay. I don't know how many pounds it is, good pounds. Just use all my recycled clay to do this. When you're dealing with big amounts, big heavy things of clay like this, you want to softer the better. That way it's not hard to center. Almost there. The more centered it is, the easier it'll be just to turn on full blast and start ripping your pieces off. Alright, that's good enough for me. Alright. What I do is I'm going to start off with large spoon rests. I'm doing this all by feel and touch memory. I know that right there is just about the right size for large spoon rest amount of clay wise. Not as centered as I'd like it to be, but what are you gonna do? Make a little bowl. Pull it out. Tell it's not as centered as I want it to be, but I'll fix that in just a second. And this is what I talk about when I say run my needle tool under the bottom and just break it off. That's what I do, run it under here until it pops off, boom. There you go. Set that over here. So you set it down, and then we just bend it like that. Boom, boom. Done. I'm actually going to move this over here. Or is it over here? Start over here. Push the bottom down. And helps compact it a little bit. And there we go. I'll do about 100 of those. Now 8:45, and getting the mugs hard to put handles on, and so yeah, I'll time lapse that. It's Monday. Been working since 9 in the morning. Real quick, I'm going to show you how to pull a handle off a mug. I've already attached it. It's Tuesday now in this long video of start to finish a week, getting everything ready for Saturday. I'm going to show you how to pull a handle off a mug real quick. That, get it wet. Get it long enough. Check it. That'll be good. Put it against my shirt. Score at the bottom. Run some slip on there. Flip it around. Stick it. Push it, make sure it's really good on there good. Start working that into there. Give it a little push, and I'll clean all this stuff up later. And then we square the handle off. Clean up any slips so you don't have slip cracks. There you go. Then I'll put the little thumb rest on and be done. Ball of clay. Smush it in my hand here. Score at the bottom. Slip it. Stick it. Boom. Push that on there. Okay. All right, you got your thumb rest. Clean up that slip. Done. It's out in the sun. Out in the sun most of the day on this side. I got a few more pots back there. I've set everything out in the sun today to force dry it. To get it good and dried, next step we're going to go to is go over here and start wiping pots off in about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to take a break because I've been up since 9 in the morning getting everything handled. And after this, wipe it off, then throw it in the bisque. Mind you, again, it's Tuesday, so this has to be out by Friday. So we're just cranking along. About 8:30 at night, I think. Obviously night, it's not morning. Around 8:30. Gonna get the bisque kiln loaded. This is everything that's going into the kiln. So I'm gonna start loading it up. And yeah, sorry, a little delirious. I know before I said I've been up since 9 o'clock doing this, but last night I was up till about 1 or 2 in the morning working, so Potter's got to sleep sometime. Not a mean. Okay, let's get this thing loaded. Now a lot of the bisque kiln, what I got to do is basically go through all my posts here. These are my posts. I've got small ones, tall ones, skinny ones, fat ones. But I want to make sure that post is going to clear that mug, and that one's not. And I've got, you know, things that this will clear, but I'll add a little small, what I call a little scotch to the top of this sucker, and I can tell that should clear the mug. So when the shelf goes on here, it doesn't smash the mug, because I've done that before. So I'm going to do that to the entire kiln, and basically, so stacking the bisque kiln is kind of like a reverse game of Jenga, kind of. It's like Tetris. You gotta be really slow, meticulous, and if you don't do it right and don't take your time, you won't get as much in, or you can have the whole thing collapse while firing, and that would be really, really bad. So I'm gonna take my time doing this, and with the magic of editing and cameras and whatnot, I'll be back in just a few minutes, but more than likely it's probably gonna be about say 45 minutes to an hour to stack this. And this is just a bisque kiln. The best part about a bisque kiln is I don't have to worry about things touching each other, meaning these two could be like this in the kiln and it's okay. As long as you don't have any pinch points and stack things like this, like a crazy person, you'll be fine. If you did that, they would split apart in the kiln. And so we'll get this done here, and once everything's stacked, I'll explain the firing, because most of this stuff here is wet. Pretty good and wet. Stiff enough to work with, to wipe clean and make sure it's smooth. I put a lot of it on the wood stove to force dry it and sat some in the sun while we had sun today, but a lot of it's wet, and after I'm done stacking this, I'll go with the go through the programming of the bisque firing, which is the first firing to pottery, and explain what I'm entering, how I'm entering it, and why I'm going so slow. And this is going to be a 24-hour firing. A lot of people go too fast, and that's how you blow stuff up. So I'll be right back and I'll explain that. Okay, as you can see, I've got about generally everything, almost everything in. All but 3 soup mugs and 3 tiny mugs. Pretty good. Got it stuffed pretty good. I'm gonna get started up. Alright, ready to go ahead and set off the bisque firing. And I'll go through the programs here. I've got pre-programmed, I believe user 2 is my glaze, user 1 is my bisque. I got 7 segments. And I'm only going 90 degrees per hour up to 100. So it's going to take an hour to get to 100 degrees, basically to 90 degrees. It's pretty full kiln. Doing this because everything's soaking wet. I'm basically just trying to create the environment of outside drying slowly without crazy cracking or blowing up or anything like that. It's super slow. I'm gonna have it hold an hour, 20 minutes at 100 degrees. And then it's gonna go 90 degrees per hour up to 400. So it'll take maybe an hour, 2 hours to get to 400. And then I'm gonna have it hold at 400 degrees for 4 hours. Making sure all and any moisture is out of the clay. And that's gonna go only 100 degrees per hour up to 500. And then at 500, I'm gonna have it hold for 2 hours. Because 500, 700, those are your magical temperatures where things can explode. So you wanna have it sit there at about 2 hours at 500 to make sure nothing blows up. Make sure your temperature goes up real slow to that. Slow, slow, slow. We're gonna go 100 degrees, 700. And at 700, I'm still holding it at hour, 20 minutes. And throughout this, up to probably about 800 degrees, I'm gonna have the lid up here cracked. Matter of fact, do that right now. Use one of these guys. Leave that cracked. That'll let all the moisture out. The less moisture you have building up there, the better. So probably start steaming once I get it going. So the next ramp is ramp 5, 150 degrees per hour up to 1,000. So it's super, super slow to get to 1,000. It's gonna take quite a few hours to get to 1,000. And that's not gonna hold there. Next ramp is 200 degrees per hour up to 1820. That's where I hold it. That's where I found it works best for my glazes. But still only 200 degrees per hour up to 1820 because you don't want anything blowing up. If you go fast in a bisque fire, you're gonna blow stuff up. You go anywhere over 200 degrees per hour to any temperature, you risk blowing stuff up. Some people say 3. I keep it at 4, or I keep it at 200. So it's gonna hold at 1820, 1,820 degrees for 30 minutes. That burns out all the junk and crap that's in your clay body to make sure it doesn't start doing that during your glaze firing. So you wanna do this during the bisque firing, not during the glaze firing. Get all the crap burned out of your clay at the bisque firing. So from there, I'll let it drop down to 1,200 at 150 degrees per hour, which is kind of slow. I've been generally, after a hold of 20 minutes at 1820, I've been cutting it off just to let it fall, to get it done, just to fall naturally, to get it done faster because I'm kind of at a time limit to getting this stuff out by Friday. So I'll cut it off after 20 minutes at 1820. I've got programmed to slow cool, but I've not been doing that. I've got my alarm off. Everything's done, complete. Boom, turn it on. Good to go. You'll start hearing your relays click on. This one's got one relay that turns on at once for everything. There it is. Okay. That's fantastic. Okay. My day's done. I think it's probably 10 o'clock, so I'm going inside. Or I'll probably sit out here for a little bit, watch it, but my day's done. see you tomorrow. Or actually, I'll probably see you Thursday because this is going to take all night to get the temperature, and it probably won't reach max temperature to somewhere tomorrow afternoonish. And I'll be glazing Thursday all day. So see you Thursday. All right, the kiln has reached max temperature on the bisque firing, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it off, but I wanted to give you a quick sneak peek of what it looks like when we're at 1600 degrees. This looks cool. All right, take a plug out. Don't do this barehanded. I do it barehanded because I'm nutty. But you can see the kiln in there glowing. That's what 1600 degrees looks like, and that is just the bisque firing. Looks brighter on the phone than it actually really is. Okay, time to shut her down. Let it naturally cool overnight. Okay, it is Thursday. Last night, Wednesday, I showed you the kiln bisque firing just to show the glow. It was pretty cool. The bisque firing's over. Everything's here. Number one note, after you bisque fired, before you touch any of this, anything at all, make sure your hands are completely grease free. Otherwise it could affect the glaze sticking to your pots, so I'm always washing my hands, making sure that my hands are grease free. You know, don't touch your face and then touch your pot, because it'll probably leave some kind of little bit of grease there, and the glaze just won't stick that great. This is what it sounds like. Good to go. Keep it flipped upside down. What I've done here, this shelf, one over there, and behind the camera is labels of brown, blue, brown and teal, black and blue. I've separated all my colors to make sure that I'm going to keep stock of at least 6 to 8 to like my best seller. These colors of brown and teal, I'm going to keep like 13 of those, because I know they sell the best. My waterfall brown behind the camera over here, I've got them all stacked up, trying to up the stock of that because it's a good seller during the fall time. So I'm gonna get glazing, and just a second here, I think I'll do the waterfall brown first because it's the easiest. Waterfall brown's great. Most of my glazes are floating glazes, meaning they've got to be dipped multiple times, and I basically do 1, 2, 3 dips, put them on the shelf, and they're good to go. I've changed the way I've done things a little bit. The brown is really easy. It's dipped in there and just swirled around a little bit, and then put it on the shelf, let it dry, turn around, I'll do the handle. That way I'm not sticking my hands in the glaze all the time. You really don't want to stick your hands barehanded in the glaze all the time. If you can get yourself a pair of nice yellow gloves, do it. I usually have a pair. I've just not gotten some. I've been extremely busy lately. But I'm gonna get to glazing. So let's flip the old camaroo around here, and we'll show you the glazing process first, and I'll show you real time, and then I'll bring the clock in here and put it somewhere to show how long this takes, because glazing is the final step. If you do not glaze your pots properly and make sure everything is sticking and you don't have any cracking issues and stuff like that's not repaired before it goes into the firing, the final firing, your glaze firing, you can mess a whole bunch of stuff up. Like I've got some pots up here, they're messed up because an element blew off wire, and long story, don't get into it. But after everything is glazed, I'll show you the end part of that. That's wiping the bottoms, making everything, make sure everything's clear and of any glaze on the bottom whatsoever. Otherwise, your mug or whatever you're firing is going to stick to the shelf and it'll be ruined. Last week I had 3 mugs stick to the shelves, probably because a tiny little amount of glaze was on the bottom from just one of my wooden shelves here, and it was probably just a tiny little booger of dry glaze that happened to be sitting on the mug. I didn't see it. I was extremely tired. Another good idea is to be clear-headed when you're glazing. I'm good today. I actually got some sleep. So I'm gonna get to glazing. And the way I do my glazing, I'll show you in a second here, is I'm gonna choose my first color, and it's gonna be waterfall brown. It goes on 2 sets here of the bottom of these and all over those. And so I'm gonna do all of that first. I've got newspaper laid down here so I don't get glaze all over the shelves that I have to wipe off because they're wooden shelves, they're old. And it's just a pain in the butt. So let's get to glazing. Glazing 101. Guess we'll call it. First of all, you want to have a bucket of water here. I've got a 5-gallon bucket of water here. This is plain water. I'm going to use this to clean off my stirry McThingy. It's meant to stir concrete or paint or whatever, but these are fantastic. This is the one I use because it's the one I like. It pulls stuff off the bottom in reverse and just really mixes things up well. And this will sit in my plain bucket of water to make sure it's clear of any other glazes, because you don't want to go mixing glazes and glazes with other glazes. We don't need glaze fraternization. So what I'll do is I get black, use that bucket, and pull this bucket out. This is waterfall brown. Oh, probably shouldn't have done that. And always open your lid up and off so the top of your lid, anything on there falls on the floor. If you're smart, you can, I don't know, keep the top of your lid clean and not have junk on it, because I probably should do that. I just am, like I said, always extremely busy. I'll bring the camera in here. You can see what it looks like down there. Before I stir it, get some water. That's about 2 inches of water on the top. By the way, I film all of this with a tripod that I've made an attachment to. This tripod belongs to a telescope, and I've rigged it for my cell phone making videos. Anyhow, keep stirring it up. This is waterfall brown. You're gonna make a lot of noise, and I'll stir it clockwise, and then I'll stir it counterclockwise to pull anything up off the bottom, because there's red iron oxide in this, and it's a very heavy element, and a couple others in there like rutile. That's pretty heavy, so it likes to sit at the bottom. But anywho, get spinning! Pretty good. Now I'm going to check it with my finger. A lot of people recommend you don't do this, but I do it because I'm winning. Looks alright. See? It's got a little, probably couldn't see that, but anyways, I feels pretty good thick wise. I'm saying it feels pretty good because I've been doing this for a good long time, and this waterfall brown has got to be kind of medium thin, otherwise it pulls up and creates total chaos. So I think that's about the amount of water it lost last time, because every time you glaze things, you'll lose water in your glaze, and it'll lose consistency, and it'll get thicker and thicker and thicker. So you have to keep it the proper thin or thickness to your glaze, depending on what you're using. This glaze, it's recommended to be medium thin, and I really should use a hydrometer. It's a meter for, you know, how much water is in stuff, but I don't have one. I'm gonna get one eventually. Then we'll stir it up again. just dip in here, and we bring the camera over and you can get a shot of how it works. Okay. A waterfall brown down there. Hello. And scoot it here. I'm gonna go kind of fast with these. Like I said, don't do as I do, because you need gloves doing this, really. It's just the way I dip this stuff. Shake off the excess. So like I said, you don't want things pulling up. Do another one. You just dip it down in there. This is waterfall brown. This is probably the easiest glaze I have to use, because I don't have to do multiple layers. Do one more. And where my finger is, I'll probably have to go back and touch it up a little bit. Any thin spots you leave with some glazes will just look kind of funky. Some people don't like it, some people like it. Okay, that's one set of mugs. I'm going to go ahead and get cranking because I've got to get all this in the kiln. Camera, little cattywampus. I got to get all this in the kiln within the next 4 hours to ensure that hopefully I can pull it out tomorrow afternoon. I'll be setting up a Presnell's down the road, and I'd like to bring this with me if I can. So I want to get this in the kiln within the next 4 hours so I can start the kiln, get it firing max temperature, cool it down to at least 600 degrees before I crack the lid tomorrow at some point. So, okay, here we go. Thought I was gone, didn't you? Okay, gonna set up the clock. Somewhere we'll fall over. Do. Maybe over there, maybe over there. Gotta find a thumbtack. Where is a thumbtack? Or maybe I could just say F it and do this. Is that visible? Okay, keep that visible. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, real quick, I want to show you what the blue looks like before it's fired. Yeah, sorry about the selfie filming here. I'm holding the camera. Whoa! Okay, don't want to make anybody sick. Let me aim it down and we'll show you what this looks like. That's tan. Wow, didn't see that coming, did you? All right, here's the blue. It is kind of like a tan, but you can see how it covers my fingernails like that. That means that to a person that's not using a hydrometer because they haven't bought one like myself, it is just about the right thickness. It's not something you want to do all the time. Touching this stuff really bad for your skin. But this is the blue. It's kind of tan, kind of white. After it's fired, it's a blue. And when it's on a mug, it looks just like that. Almost kind of white. And these I dip 2 to 3 times depending. If they're a thick mug or a thin mug, it's sometimes they dry fast, sometimes they dry slow. The humidity outside plays a big deal with glazing. If it is raining like crazy outside, then glaze is going to take forever to dry. The mug is basically your sponge to the glaze, and when it's super humid outside, the glaze just takes forever. It's literally like setting a sponge outside in the rain. It's going to take forever to dry up because everything's wet, and it's you're going to have problems with your glaze sticking to your mug. So yeah, let's get back to glazing. Cosmic tea dust. Weird looking stuff. Okay, now we wipe everything off. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm going to give you a time lapse of the process. This is the glaze firing. I'm going to be loading up the glaze firing kiln. Same kiln, different firing. How about that? I'm going to do this in time lapse. Before I've got a time lapse that was me loading the bisque kiln. This is going to be me loading the glaze kiln. I'll be bringing out the table, all the pots, and probably cleaning a few shelves and all that. But let's get started. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your pottery is? Gonna go, yeah. It's gonna go in the glaze firing, so. Alright, I'm being silly because I'm tired and it's late. I've been up forever making everything. So here we go. Glaze firing. Alright, we got everything lined up out here. All this stuff. We're trying to get into that small 3 foot tall by 17-inch wide kiln. Doubt it's gonna happen. Don't try to cram everything into one firing. Waste makes waste. Especially when bisque firing is different from the glaze firing. You put a ton of stuff into your bisque firing, but you can't put a ton of stuff into your glaze firing, because any electric kiln like this being electric kiln firing wise, you need to raise your bottom shelf about that far off the floor of your kiln. Otherwise, stuff just doesn't really come to temperature, because the bottom of your kiln is the coldest point, and the middle point is your hottest, and the top is also the coldest point. So we're going to raise that up about a half an inch to an inch and get in probably a bunch of tall stuff, soup mugs, short mugs, and tiny pumpkins. Since it's that time of year, it's 45 degrees outside, but I'm used to it. Anywho, we're gonna need a lot of soup mugs, tall mugs, mostly a lot of soup mugs. So that's that. You gotta think of what you really want to put in here and what you're possibly going to be selling in the next couple days, because it's more than likely a lot of this will be coming out Saturday, because I don't think I'll be pulling anything out at 1700 degrees tomorrow, 10 in the morning. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll drive back and get it. We'll see what happens. Let's get to it. Okay, as you can see, I've got about 85% of all of this, with some good spacing and a good mixture of stuff I'm going to need this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and flip her on. Okay, close her up gently. Oh boy, then we're gonna come down here and turn it on. I'll explain this quickly. If anybody has any questions, just put it in the comments and I'll definitely get back to you. Any questions at all about glaze firing or bisque firing, just ask in the comments and I'll get back to you. So here we go. Enter program. User 2. $350 per hour up to 400. I hold that for 50 minutes, get out all the moisture. Then I go to 375 per hour up to 700, and I hold that for 10 minutes. That's a good boiling point to get out even more moisture, especially from that wax. Then I will go 375 up to 1700, and I'll hold that for 10 minutes. That solidifies the glaze. Keeps it from doing any shenanigans. Then 375 up to 2100, and I'll hold that for another 10 minutes. And that, like, yet again, with these floating glazes, it works out a lot of junk. Floating glazes have got a lot of just stuff in them, and I've found that these ramps burn out all these impurities that are in these glaze combinations. Anywho, 375 up to 2214, hold for 10 minutes, and alarm 2214 complete. So it means after 10 minutes of 2214, it's going to shut off, be done, naturally cool. I've stopped the slow cool, because if you want to do a slow cool, that's great for matte glazes, but it's not good for glossy glazes. All right, we're on idle. Start. Boom. Good to go. I'm going to crack a beer for the fire gods, and that's it for tonight. I think it's like 11 o'clock. I don't even know. See you tomorrow. It's Thursday. So, yeah, I got to go load the truck and get ready for tomorrow. Bye. Okay, important thing, crack the lid, let all the moisture out. I use something about like that to crack the lid open, because in about 30 minutes this thing's gonna be steaming like crazy. I don't know how many of you have got rituals, but for me, crack a beer, pour one out for the fire gods. It's gonna be a good fire. It's gonna be a good fire. that's that. It's 11:28, and now I'm going to load up the truck now because I got to get up, be down the road at Presnell's at about 9:45 tomorrow morning. This will not be ready though. I'll see you in the morning. So I got to bed about 1 o'clock, and I got up at 7. I've got to be at Presnell's at 10. Kiln's not done firing, which is normal. Just wanted to show and reiterate that not everything's so fast. I'm extremely tired, and I'm going to drink a gallon of coffee and wake up. But yeah, it's not done. It'll be cooling throughout the day. I'll be shutting it down before I leave. And that's all for now. Okay, bye. All right, real quick, wanted to show the kiln is at 2206. It'll be 2214 soon. That's my max temperature. Okay, I'm halfway through my pint of coffee, feeling more alive. Anyhow, take out these plugs here. You can see they're glowing because that is freaking hot. Go figure 2,000 degrees makes stuff glow. Pretty cool. Looks a little weird on the camera. But always take your plugs out. When you take your plugs out, set them on the top of the kiln. Don't put them on the friggin' floor like shit on fire. Okay. Let's see. You can't really see, and I need to put my glasses on. I've got some 100-year-old aviators that are polarized and are perfect for this. All right, I've got a pyrometric cone in the middle. That's where I put my cone, is in the middle, because I know the one in the middle is down completely. I know the top and bottom are good. Kind of do it to save money, save cones really, because sometimes they're hard to find. But if the middle cone's bent, the rest of it's good. It's going to get up to max temperature here in probably 5 minutes, and I'm going to let it hold for probably 5 minutes. It's supposed to hold for 10, but I think I'm going to let it hold for 5. It's an extremely full kiln. When you have a really full kiln, you're going to have a lot of residual heat from everything else. So, yeah. I'm about halfway through my pint of coffee, and I'm feeling more alive. Okay, gotta go. All right, here at Presnell's Produce. Gonna get set up. First of all, I need to turn around because just my luck, I pull up and somebody's sitting in the exact spot I need to be, getting some internet, because there's absolutely no internet here in the mountains. So we can turn around here. Anywho, all right, let's get set up. all set up, and now we sit here and wait. Okay, we are back, and the glaze firing's over. It's open. Kiln's at 545 degrees. That's all right with me. I'm gonna start taking stuff out, and since it's nighttime, I'll post pictures and I'll show things a little bit better when I go inside. But right now it's hard to see. But there's your black with the glitter. Hold that sucker out, looking good. You can tell by the bottom it's fully fired. We're good. Sometimes the stuff on top just won't get fully fired just because, well, to me anyways. But anyways, I'm gonna get to unloading. And I'll do that on time lapse because it takes almost as long, kind of as stacking, just because I want to be careful and don't mess anything up. All right, just gonna kind of show everything's nice and glossy. This is part of taking stuff out, looking at it. This will be hard to see because, like I said, it's night, it's dark. Looking good. You really can't. There we go. Gotta get a flashlight out because we get about 10 minutes of sunlight right now. It's getting to be fall in the mountains. These are hot. Okay, these are UGG gloves. If you ever happen to buy these, buy a higher rate. Buy a UGG glove that's got a higher rating for heat. These, whew, they get hot quick. Anywho, that's looking good. I'll pull that out and I'll pull these pumpkins out. This is pumpkins. The pumpkins. For October, these are by far the best kiln fillers you can use.